All right, welcome back to PlanetGenX, a podcast that explores the unique experiences of those born between the 60s and 80s, where we look at a bunch of topics, those ranging from a myriad of things such as gaming, movies, ADHD, and nerd culture in general. That kind of thing, you know. So here's my co-host. What's up, B? How you doing today?
Not much, man. I'm pretty good. How are you?
Overly energetic for that intro, probably. But that's all right.
That was a great intro, I think.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, everything's been going pretty well. Been a lot less stressful week for sure.
Nice. It's always good to hear.
Yeah, every week we do this, it gets a little bit easier and easier. No doubt.
Yeah. You want to hop in some news, or you got something before that?
No, I don't have anything specific really to talk about, so we can just go ahead and jump right on into the news.
All right.
Looking at AMD right off the bat here with looks like they finally got around to putting out a driver package that people have been sorely waiting for, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was off the hills their newest release card, but at the same time, it included a lot of support for a lot of their not really old but older cards, right?
Yeah, and then there was nothing heard from for a few months, so people were really getting kind of antsy for it, and a lot of the performance was really from synthetic benchmarks too. The actual in-game performance may not be quite as great as what they're saying, so take it with a grain of salt. Download, I'm sure you're getting something better than you had, so definitely check that out if you have any of the RX 6000 cards or any of the older stuff.
Right. The big thing is that the devs have a hold of it now. So
yeah, absolutely. So speaking of video cards, Hogwarts Legacy's had a couple patches come out, which has been a good thing. They just have one out today that just dropped for the PS5 and PC only. But people are still having some issues even after these updates. I've heard some stuttering issues and stuff. I've had no real issue since those two or three things that I reported. I think they've already fixed those, and that was first week stuff. Because I've reported those before the Zero Tape patch came out, so I'm sure that got fixed fairly quickly. But other than, I haven't really noticed. If there's been something in the game that was supposed to happen and didn't, I haven't noticed it yet. I did fall through, I may have said this last week, I fell through the map one time.
No.
Just outside the Great Hall. You walk around outside it, and I'm just bebopping along. Next thing I know, what? And eventually I die, so.
Right. At
least I could come back, and it didn't, put me at a checkpoint. Everything was cool. I didn't go back that way, and I reported it immediately, so that's all you can do, man. I'm having a blast with the game.
Yeah, I think the PS5 patch was sorely needed. I think there were a lot of issues on the PS5.
Well, there's some sore feelings there because there was some exclusive content that people couldn't get access to, and now they can. So I can understand that. I have content that I'm supposed to get to, but I haven't even got to the point in the game to where I can enjoy it yet, my mounts. I'm just getting to that point, so hopefully I get to. I don't play for any of you people who are like, he isn't there yet. I don't play like you do. I have severe ADHD, like we've talked about in the past, and I looked last night. I'm at 22 hours right now, and I know people that are well past 80 and all that stuff. So I get it. You game all day, whatever. I've got shit to do. I can't be gaming all day, man. I'm trying to.
I don't know, man. Here. I personally commonly sink at least an extra 20 hours in a game beyond the average player.
Yeah. Oh,
just by how I play.
I have been there in the past, but it's hard. It's hard for me to put more than a couple hours in a sitting. It really is. But this one has really, really enthralled me, so I've been very happy. And I've come back day after day because there's other games, no matter how bad. Cyberpunk's a fine example. I played it for a month solid now, every day. But after that, I hadn't played it since, except, that time I updated it.
It's always the same thing. Same thing for me with Cyberpunk. I'll pick it up, I'll play it, intensely for a while, and then I'll put it down for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Hogwarts. For me, so far, it's just been nothing but fun, and there is way more to go. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface in this 22 hours. And
Right.
I don't think I'm necessarily taking my time either. Like, well, I'm getting a lot done in that time. I mean, I'm already level 15. No, I'm not. I'm level 20 now. So that's not bad for 22 hours. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just walking around in the woods with my thumb up my ass. I mean, I'm doing stuff every time. And literally, you can walk around and you're gonna stumble on something that they wanted you to see anyway. In fact, I saw a video about that was saying 15 seconds of attention, like time. Who was it who figured out it was 40 seconds? I forget who it was. Gosh, I wish I could remember the game. They had figured out they took all the time to figure out that you should only walk like 40 seconds before you see something of interest on a map. And this guy was looking at the Hogwarts map and trying to decide how much that same formula they used. And he was coming up to like almost 15 seconds of interest. You know, that might be a little extreme, but anyway, you know, like, so it's quite dense as far as, if you're walking this way or that way, you're going to hit something within so many paces. And they do that for a reason. And it's smart. And it's working well in this one because they've obviously, it is up for whatever game that was. God, I wish I could remember. Anyway, yeah, so I'm still enjoying it. Patches are coming. Looks like they're supporting their game, which is awesome. That's what a AAA game should do.
Well, there's one thing that I saw in the game that I don't know that it can necessarily fix easily. I did see a few places where you'll figure out this puzzle or do something really cool, and it just leads you to a chest. So like guaranteed legendary, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's enough.
I will grant you that. There have been, of course, now there's these doors where you have to do some math, and once you know it, it's super stupid easy. So at first you think, oh hell, I should have gotten something really cool for doing that. But after you've done it a while, it's like, well, yeah, I get it. It's not that cool. Yeah, there are some disappointing moments like that where you're like, oh man, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and I just found this cool cave in the ground, and there's a chest at the end of it, and it's a fucking pair of goggles that are worse than what I've got on right now.
Right.
You know, so. Yeah, okay, so if there's a complaint there and there was a way to make that dynamic to your level, then that would be way better.
Yeah.
Definitely. I can agree with that.
I think it's just industry standard, though. I mean, you're all just stealing ideas from other games and trying to come up with a cohesive palette, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that this game is ripe for DLC, man. It really is. They have a world where they could just add to it, and if they don't, they're stupid.
Didn't they announce that they don't have plans for a DLC?
Well, they already kind of have one in there. Yeah, no, they're going to do stuff. I believe they are, yeah.
I thought I had heard somebody said recently that they're not going to have DLC.
We'll see. I mean, I think there's a potential to add maybe multiplayer, Quidditch. There's been a bunch of stuff discussed, and if they're not doing it just for the amount of money they've made on it, I think they'd be foolish not to try it. Because just the map alone, the world that they've already made, like they could just sell that to somebody,
right,
and let somebody do something with it, and you could make a brand new game in there.
Well, I will say that there are a lot of gamers that are really into that, not just the game itself, but Harry Potter in general. That a lot of times you'll end up with mods. People will mod it themselves, put it up on Nexus.
Yeah.
I would expect to see something like that for Quidditch or something.
And I mean, the Quidditch pitch is there. So it's certainly something. And I know there's mods already out. Somebody put out, I meant to tell you, it was on the news, but I didn't feel it was worth mentioning. It was a side note. Somebody had already modded it within days, put Thomas the Tank Engine in, which is a famous, mod to stick in. So it got it within before release, I believe. I'm not sure if it was before release or right after release, but it wasn't long after.
It was right there, yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's been something else. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to take long. People want to come up with a way to look around while you're on the broom. If they would just let me swap the controls to where I could use the left stick for up and down, left and right, and the right for free look, that solves that right there. So that seems like an easy way to, for the devs to change or whoever, a mod or something like that. But anyway,
that's really what I expect to see in the future is just, fixing major issues, polishing some stuff up. But I do expect to see a lot of quality of life improvements.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just love it so much. I hope they do take advantage of it. They get my money.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's such a big property.
That's true.
Anyway, speaking of WB,
Okay.
John Wick 4 trailer finally dropped.
Yep. Seems kind of short. All the trailers I've seen recently have seemed kind of like short. I'm used to having a little bit long. These are like the TV spot ads you see sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Or like 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute 30, something like that.
I haven't watched it. I wonder if we can watch it right now.
There will be an audio issue.
Well, there. Oh yeah, I guess there would be, huh?
Most likely.
Yeah, let me not do that. We'll just go back to it. Oh, Jesus. Got it. Go away. I don't know what the hell I did. Now I'm stuck. I lost us. Wait, here we go.
It's a button on the bottom to share your screen.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What am I doing? I got me up. I got you up now, not me. What the fuck have I done here, people? There we go. Holy Jesus. What the hell is this thing? Oh, son of a bitch, now I just fucked it up again.
Are you just switching between panel and focus?
I just want this damn... now I got this stupid little thing down here. Turn off camera. Oh, fuck me. What am I doing?
All right, on that row where you just turned off your camera, one of them says share screen, and you can turn that on.
Oh, man, what have I done here? This is so stupid. I don't know how to get... There's this little thing. A little box for watch together, and I can't get rid of this shit now. For love nor money. And we're back. I think, yeah, we're back. And you guys got to see me fighting with that damn window. I finally figured it out. It was on the chat thing that I couldn't even see. I had to get out of full screen because of the way we record this. So
It's
anyway,
a little different when you're broadcasting.
Oh my God, man, Jesus! I felt like such a fool too. It's like, you got it, and I'm like, I don't got it. But anyway,
so John Wick.
Yeah, we were talking John Wick 4. So I was going to try and let y'all watch it with us, but yeah, that's probably going to get YouTube all pissy, and hardly anybody sees these videos anyway. I don't want to make it worse.
Right.
That way, I'll put, like, if I actually remember, I didn't remember last episode to do it, but I'll put a link there or there or there or there. Okay. And if I don't, then just go look at the John Wick. It's on YouTube, so
yeah,
you know how to do it.
Search bar.
Yeah. So right off the bat, they're using the Sopranos theme song in the trailer. Got yourself a gun.
Yep.
Yeah. John.
Well,
it pretty
much
much
remake of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a definite remake. Yeah, it's not like the Sopranos version, but it's the same song anyway. It's like John Wick 3, but it's John Wick 4, and it looks cool because it almost looks like right there he kills like the okay. So if you believe that there's an NWO coming, a New World Order, and there's a head of one guy, it looks like he kills this guy.
Right. Or at least that's what you would expect.
That's what you expect, because you see that, he pulls the gun out. He's like, yeah, no, fuck you. I mean, he doesn't say that, but basically that's what he says. And he pulls the gun, and in the scene that you see the guy with him. So you assume that's what's about to happen. It's probably the only thing that could keep him alive at this point is to do something like that. But I guess there'll be always somebody waiting in the wings to take that guy's place, more than likely. So I don't know how much good it'll do.
Well, it's as far as the John Wick movies are concerned, I think we just had this discussion, but yeah, there's no like children of the '80s and '90s. We had action movies, right?
Yeah,
With
we did.
explosions, car chases,
Get on the chopper.
yeah, stuff like that. And you may see some of that in film now, but you don't really have a lot of action movies outside of like Expendables was the big thing.
I was
that
just
remember
thinking that
after
exact same thing. That was the last one, the Expendables. Yeah, that's what we
So,
had in droves, and all those people.
Yeah, like all the people we remember from the action movies. But yeah, I do love the choreography in John Wick.
It's beautiful.
It's great.
I used to give John Wick a lot of shit from the when the first movie came out. I saw it, and I liked it. It was a fine movie, but when the second one came out, and I started seeing like all my friends be like, "Oh man, John Wick 2 is coming out!" I'm like, bro, really? I mean, one was
Right.
all right, but really, you're that excited for a sequel? I didn't even think they'd make a sequel, but I saw the second one, liked it pretty well. Still not convinced, right?
Mm-hmm.
The third one comes around. I watched the third one. Now I'm all in. Because first of all, I was pissed at the first one because it made zero sense to me why the hell there's Russians at his gas station just down the road from his house. I'm like, what the fuck? Russians? And then he's speaking Russian. I'm like, we have no backstory on this guy. I don't have any idea what's going on. I'm a guy who needs a little backstory, man. You can't start me out coming in, like Matrix and me midway through. Put me like in the middle of the story or something like that at the beginning. No, don't do that to me. So by the third one, I was like, wow, and I really liked it. And I went back and watched the others, and now that I can see it forming a cohesive story,
right,
it is beautiful to me. I think it's one of the for action movies, since we don't have any anymore since the Expendables. It really is. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be great acting. I'm not saying like I love Keanu Reeves, but he's no fucking great actor. I mean, he's just Keanu Reeves. He's just a good guy. So he gets that, and he can have that because that's fine. Because it just seems to work. Whatever it is that he's doing, it works for his movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll never see him really perform as well as he did in Bill and Ted, in my opinion.
Well, for me, every movie he made since that. Well, I used to get ragging big time in the '90s, especially like Speed and shit. When he first started, right after Bill and Ted, he started coming up, and I was like, dude, he's just Ted in everything.
Right?
Whoa! Can't go below 55. Yeah, it was rough, man. But I mean, and I, you were around too when the Matrix came out. I would not watch it. Everybody around us was watching it at Ball and Claw. I wouldn't watch it. I heard it 1,000 times. I knew how the movie went. I heard that damn phone ringing 500 fucking times, and I could quote that. My name is Neo. I must have heard that so many times. But
well, that was also kind of like the Matrix movies were kind of at a point where the technology had caught up to the stories, right? Like if you go back and watch it, you'll still see some obvious stuff, but overall,
yes. Well, they were creating
special effects and everything.
Yeah, they were creating it just like Lucas was creating his. They were creating theirs,
right?
And yeah, it got a lot better too. I didn't give The Matrix a chance till the other two came out, so I could watch them all.
I don't know. The Bo staff scene was just laughable to me. In 2,
I don't even remember, dude, because I'm not that invested. I've only seen them all twice.
Well, there's one scene where he's like in a park somewhere near the Oracle, and Agent Smith comes along, and there's like tons of them because he's started becoming a virus to the system. And the textures on these models, man, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet I
like
got
plastic.
Pissed. Yeah. I can't stand a bad-looking CG, man.
Me too.
Oh, I don't like watching, like any of the like episode 1 or episode 2, even if you don't have the right TV, watching some of that on an old TV or something, it just does not hold up. Like
even watching it on a new one, some of the
yeah,
scenes are bad.
the CG just looks horrible. I mean, it worked on the big screen, fine, right. But when it got reduced, it really needed to be redone for the smaller screens, in my opinion.
Definitely, I agree with you there.
Because it just looked horrible. I remember thinking, no.
All right, we've been on this tangent for a minute. Let's get back to our news.
Oh yeah, we trying to get through the news quick this time, y'all. Trying to dial it down a bit with the ADHD.
Good luck.
Kevin Feige says Marvel TV is going to slow down to give them a chance to shine. So
sounds like a line to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. They're probably getting some heat. I'm sure some of the people that Disney let go were from there, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Marvel's doing pretty good for them, so I don't know.
Well, I was just going to say that, you know, they've got access to all these properties, but there's no really, like, they can all tie into a certain timeline, certain universe, if you're into the comics and whatnot. But, like, even Multiverse of Madness, the most recent one, it was great on so many different levels. But it just felt like it
was missing
felt like
something.
A bunch of window dressing.
It was missing something, yeah. Well, you know, I didn't put it on the thing too, but Liam Neeson made a comment, I think yesterday, about Star Wars being too watered down now with all the, like, it's not Star Wars anymore because there's so much of it on TV now.
Right.
I mean, I guess I can see his point, but I actually like it. I like seeing Star Wars fleshed out. I mean, it seems to me there's a movement of Lucas purists who are mad at anything, especially Kathleen Kennedy related, just specifically, not necessarily Favreau and Filoni, yeah. Like they think she's whitewashing George out of anything that his fingerprints out of it, and I don't know if that's where that's coming from, just from those guys. You know, I don't.
Well, you know, I think a lot of those guys consider her to be someone who ruined the property, right?
Yeah. Fair dude. I mean, I can see it, both sides of it.
Yeah, and I think it just soured them on the idea of the new stuff coming out. But man, I've been rewatching Mando, and I'm about to drop into Boba Fett afterwards, and you know, we spent a lot of time to where Tuskens aren't just dirt people off on the side anymore, right? They're part of the story. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, no doubt.
Stuff like that. Big ups. Anyway.
So yes, just a little Marvel news. Go ahead.
I do think you skipped over. Maybe you wanted to do.
No, yeah, I'm saving that for last because we're gonna segue into that and just talk about that for the most part.
So Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount Plus subscriptions going up.
Surprise.
Yeah, when Showtime merges with them this year.
Well, everybody's going to be looking for new revenue, right? That's why Netflix wanted to do commercials. That's why a lot of these mergers happening. But yeah, it's just kind of expected. You know, if it wasn't this, it would be something else.
Yeah, and I'm just listen. I have every service except Paramount Plus. I did have it up until a month or two ago, and now when I need it, I don't have it again. But anyway, I wasn't paying for that one, so. But it was like $4.95 or whatever. It wasn't that expensive, but still you had to deal with ads and stuff too. Peacock's the same way. I mean, even if you're paying, you're getting ads, which I'm not against, but then don't make me pay the same prices I was paying a year ago for no ads. So if you're going to keep the ads, then you need to take down your price, not up it.
Agreed. Yeah.
You need to sell more ad space, in my opinion. Don't bombard me. I don't want to be watching an ad every 10 seconds, you know. the well placed ads, you sell yourself better, in my opinion. That's how your company reflects its growth and all that. You got to get good salespeople in there to sell.
Well, there's
better.
a lot of metrics and crap like that involved. Like personally, I love like watching like a movie or something. And if you're going to throw ads in there, give me an intermission.
Right. Absolutely.
Find a middle point, throw them all into there.
Yeah. Let me go up and take a piss, smoke a bowl, whatever you got to do, man. Drink a beer.
The people that are paying for these ads want to make sure you're watching them.
Yeah. But that's fine too. You know? I mean, listen, I'll tell you one thing. I like a good ad. I do. Because I don't like being, I like knowing kind of what's going on in pop culture around the world. And you can kind of judge that from ads. In a way, and I like being connected to stuff. Just watching nothing but commercial-free streaming, which I did early on because a lot of it was commercial-free. Yeah. I missed it. I found myself missing it because we would sometimes flip over to something that did have ads, like I forget that one free service, but anyway, there's a few of them. So we would flip over the ones that did, and it was like, wow. That's cool. I hadn't seen that ad. It's kind of funny, and it's even entertaining in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a Super Bowl commercial that Larry David did. I think it was like FTX trading.
Yeah.
But it was like, I love seeing him in something like that, but I don't want to watch him in a show necessarily.
Larry David, I used to love him.
Comedic genius, but I just. Yeah,
I
can't watch him all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it is. He's definitely an acquired taste, but to me, he's just a different kind of Seinfeld. He and Seinfeld are two peas in a pod.
Right. Well, I mean, didn't they collaborate?
Yeah, he was the writer. He was the main deal on Seinfeld. One of the main deals there. So, but it's just funny because they're all just the way the cadence in the way they talk is the same.
Right.
It's just. Crazy. It's like two guys separated at birth somehow. One's older, one's way older though. Yeah. But another great thing, I think, not for a great reason though, Internet Explorer is officially deader than dead. The new Microsoft Edge update will remove IE and compatibility for most Windows 10 PCs. Bye-bye IE compatibility.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I remember having to use IE or Edge for certain things when you're first setting up a computer or whatever.
Yeah.
Edge does what I need in that case.
Edge is great, man. I mean, it's built on the Chromium base. You can't go wrong with it, man.
Right.
It works for Google. Microsoft's not stupid. They saw the writing on the wall, man.
Yeah.
But they're doing this because their new AI, man. And boy, howdy, did they roll that shit out fast. Everybody seems to be rolling out fast. I think they were just sitting on it a lot longer than they were letting on. A lot of people were. So yeah, they got this. Is this one Bard? Is that who theirs is, or am I thinking of somebody else's?
No. Microsoft is Bing, and Bing.
Yeah, Bing.
Is, well, I can't remember now. I want to say Bing was Chat.
Well, they're using ChatGPT. They got a little deal with them. Now,
I think it was Yahoo or somebody like that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Using Bard. Anyway, they got a lot of crap, whoever it was, for pushing it out before it was ready.
Well, and I have a problem with ChatGPT already because it has showed bias. I don't care which side of the fence you're on; it doesn't even matter. But when you have an AI that shows bias one way or the other, that is a bad thing, and we are barely into this world of AI. So we really need to get our stuff together and make sure we have some safeguards in place, some well thought out. When you do a base model, you can't be putting your ideology in there. You just can't. It's not safe.
I don't think that's what happened with it, to be honest. I think it's a lot of the ideology that it's pulling from.
Maybe that's possible. Because our media leans one way. Is that what? Yeah, I guess that's a possibility. Yeah. But
it's just not saturation good. From what it's getting, right? The people that use it, the resources that they feed it, generally of a specific view.
Yeah. I just find it weird that, just the one comparison I saw, and it doesn't matter who you like, it would say one thing about Trump, or I'm sorry, it would say one thing about Biden, but would say nothing about Trump, in the same exact parameters.
Right.
So that's what I find dangerous, and I don't see. Did it learn that? See, that doesn't seem learned. That seems programmed.
Well, what I was saying is, all the reports I've read recently about ChatGPT is that its bias is kind of like white nationalism and, all the bad things that we hear from the gaming community and whatnot. And I think it's just because it was gathering so many resources from this area where there's a very vocal sect of people.
Yeah, I don't know. You can tell I'm not trying to let it get too political right now.
Yeah.
So next we have Civ 7.
Civ 7, all you Sid Meier heads.
Man, dude, I pulled out, I think it was 6, I guess. I don't know, was it? Yeah, I think that, okay, so they had it on my Game Pass. I found out I had PC Game Pass because I had Ultimate. And I was like, hell yeah, there's Civ on there. I'm going to try it out. Yeah. It's already off my computer, dude. I was like, because really? I have such fond memories of the first one.
Right, yeah, it's totally different experience.
It really is a different experience, and it was just so much, man. My head just exploded when I saw what was going on. I was like, no, I don't have time for this. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Those games are super fun, but they have been updated for newer gamers, right? People that want to play in a different way, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if maybe take me back 20 years, I probably would have given it a shot. But I have so many games I want to look at, and I knew Hogwarts was coming. I want to get back to Cyberpunk so bad, so bad. But and then there's other games that I haven't even opened yet. Witcher 3 is sitting on there, ready to go, and I want to try that. But
I still have not gone back to Dishonored or The Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
Since I put them down a long time ago. But yeah. While I plan on it, I just never find the time.
I know, man. And I only sleep 5 hours a day, which I'm changing. I've got to change it. I can't keep doing it. It's gonna kill me.
Yeah?
It's gonna kill me, man. I've been a little concerned with my sleep and stuff like that. I've you read things and stuff like that. And
well, I've tried to tell you, but I've also been kind of standoffish about it. But yeah, your body will tell you how much sleep it needs.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm aware of it. I'm more than mindful of it. Alrighty then. So that pretty much
the news?
Yeah, that pretty much covers the main news. We have
one topic in specific.
Well, Picard season 3 started February 16th. That was Thursday. Mm-hmm. This is Saturday for those of you keeping track. It's 2/18/23. Yeah, Picard season 3 came out, and so far so good. I don't walk away going yuck or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, like right off the bat, my biggest emotion I can tell you that came from that was hatred for that Captain Shaw.
Right.
That guy that's running the Titan right now, man, from one narcissist to another, I can tell you that guy is a pure asshole.
Right.
Man.
I don't know. Go ahead.
You go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of felt like, obviously it's only the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're giving us what we wanted, right? We want to see these people. We don't necessarily want to see them trying to be badass or anything. Right. But, we want to see the return of these characters from beloved nostalgia of the next generation.
That's right.
And maybe some new stuff in there, and we're getting all that.
Yeah. And I still maintain that we might get that after the fact, too. I'm not sure. I hope so. Right. I hope they all had a hell of a good time, and I'm sure, as it always has been, between Spiner and Stewart, whether or not that continues, because that's how it's been since the beginning of time.
Yeah, well, my main concern has always been Riker, because he has that reputation of flipping the chair around, being that guy.
Yeah.
But that was always because of like back and leg issues, which I imagine can't be getting better as he gets older.
No, he's a tall guy, so that doesn't help.
Right.
Not at all. But yeah, it looked good. I'm getting used to Gates McFadden looking the way she does now. When I first saw her a couple of years ago, it was just like, whoa, hey, had a little work done. It's okay.
Right.
I love her hair. I did like her hair, man.
That's mainly what I was thinking about, the hair.
Yeah, I would totally steal that hairstyle. It was very cool.
Right.
Beverly. Yeah, I love it. I loved it. And that's the first time we've seen her since the new, because we've seen Riker already. We've seen Troy.
Sturgis and Spinner. And
Spiner's been in it. I love how he just keeps finding ways to come back. They can find ways for him. Well, we'll just give you a great grandson to soon or something like that, or
right,
whatever he played. I can't even remember what it was. Probably great grandson. No, he can be great. It's probably just grandson, because hell, Picard's still alive. What did they say? I can't remember.
Union was super old when they first ran into him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was old. Yeah, he was old. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But yeah, he was like 100 and something. So yeah, it might have been a great grandson.
Yeah.
Now you make me want to go back and find out. I hate not knowing that. But,
it's all good. You can do that after the show.
Yeah, Seven's on the old Titan now.
Right.
Not going by 7. She's going by, was she Commander Hanson?
I can't remember.
Commander Hanson.
Hanson, yeah.
That's old Shaw again. Boy, he is, what a cocksucker, that guy. I can't believe Riker didn't come over to the table, honestly.
Well, that guy, the actor, I can't remember his name, he does a lot of douchey roles.
Yeah, and I knew his face too, and I got to go look it up because I know him from somewhere, but I cannot think for the life of me where I know him from. But I will find out because I can't not know.
I always felt like they missed an opportunity with the Borg, and especially like Hugh and other things, where they could have had media consumption be like a big deal of acclamation.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in some of the stuff they did with Hugh too.
Yeah.
I guess overall, though, it was all right. That lady who played Borg died. The new queen, she died a few months or so ago, I guess now.
Yeah. I remember.
That's a shame. She was young, very beautiful.
Yeah. Great for that role.
Yeah, well, I mean, they find these people that seem to fit perfect for Alice Creed. Right. The original queen. Looked just like her. But, yeah, so far so good. I'm happy. I'm trying to think. Well, you saw Geordi. The girl LaForge Jr. that's on the Titan. That's his real daughter.
Right.
That's LeVar Burton's real daughter. Trying to think of any other anecdotes about this episode that I might impart. Well,
they did mention that Geordi is the head curator, right, of a museum now. I don't know if that was mentioned in the previous seasons or not.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't because Picard's looking at a painting with what's her name?
I can't ever remember her name either.
Look, starts with an L, I think. Laris.
Yeah.
He's talking with Laris. He's got that old painting of the Enterprise that used to be on the old show in his ready room above the couch. And he tells, I think she wants to get rid of her. They're talking about moving it or something, and that's when he mentions about LaForge being the curator.
I actually remember he wanted to give it to Geordi. She wanted him to keep it.
Right. And then he said, send it on, but then she told him, don't you touch that thing. Right. Whatever you do. Yeah,
you're going to want that later.
Uh-huh. I know that feeling.
Right.
But and at the very end, we get to see who we think our enemy is, and I said before I saw it, I said, dun dun dun, Romulans. It's got to be Romulans, and I waited. Yeah, it's got to be Romulans. Got to be.
You know, I had a semi-psychic moment watching it. You know, throughout that episode, we didn't get to see who the other passenger on the ship was until the end.
Oh,
And I was like, as they got back to the ship, I was like, that's got to be Will, right? And I wasn't far off.
Yeah. No, not at all. So
yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, so far so good. I miss the days of 22, 26 episodes or whatever. TV shows. No, it's just over so quick. So I guess we get, what do we get? 8 out of, I don't even know how many they shot. I guess it's probably 8.
Well, I mean, nowadays it's, you run a gambit. You have some people who only do 6 a season.
Right.
Right?
Oh, God forbid it's British.
Yeah. And maybe 10 to 12 on the higher end.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, 12 for Doctor Who. It's 12 and a Christmas or a holiday episode because it's not Christmas, but it is going to be Christmas this year. Right. You know, they've been doing it where it hadn't been Christmas; it's been New Year's, and it is going back to Christmas because they were filming it this week. As a matter of fact, the Christmas episode. Got to see Ian Cuddy's new outfit and the trainers he was wearing. I instantly wanted a pair, so I went and looked. The one guy's on my Twitter feed. Follows them around location to location, and he put up who they were. $320 damn for these shoes, bro. Tennis shoes, man. And they're a British company, and I can't remember the name of them. But yeah, I was like, nope, won't be owning those because I mean, I just love to have a pair of Doctor Who shoes. That'd be cool. I've always.
So you'll have to refresh me here. The last thing I remember was the Bad Doctor. The lady that nobody liked.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with her. I had a problem with
I have
a lot of the other stuff in the show.
Well, I mean, it's not a problem with her. It's a problem with the principal. I mean, you know, so he's a man. I don't care what you say. He's a man. James Bond's a man. Don't change him to a woman. It'll happen. Just watch.
Oh, yeah.
But it is what it is. We knew it was going to happen one day. And it's been... listen... It was bound to happen one day with Doctor Who because it had been talked about since the 80s. It's not like it was a new thing. And there was a woman doctor. What's her name?
Missy.
No. Joanna Lumley played him.
Yes.
Played him in a Children in Need thing or something like that back in the 80s. Right. And Lenny Henry did a doctor for the same deal. So there's been a woman doctor before, and it's been talked about, you know, forever since then. And every new doctor that came out, we thought, is it going to be a woman? But anyway, it has. We've done the great experiment. I knew when Missy came around that this was coming. You know, that was the test. See how people reacted. And it didn't matter because apparently half reacted badly and half reacted good. So that's about par for the course with anything nowadays.
I thought the Missy line was great, but, you know, it was a totally different approach.
Well, it made me mad
how
because
they tried to reboot.
Yeah, it just made me mad because they missed a trick with the Ronnie, man. The Ronnie is a female master type character that they could have used. So instead of making just a master the female character, because you want to have a good, strong female antagonist, I mean, why didn't just make her the Ronnie? So they've never had a good Ronnie story in the New Who at all. And I don't know if that's because the original writers still retain. I mean, they're dead now, but they never. I don't know how that works.
Well, I mean, even if they're dead, their family probably has.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going because the BBC's had stuff that I thought was with other families too that they have now. So I really don't have any idea how that works.
So what I was saying earlier is I was trying to ask what happened after that because apparently it's carried on. Apparently there is other stuff going on with Doctor Who, right?
Okay, so she regenerated into David Tennant again.
Really?
Yes, he's going to be back for 3 episodes because this is the 60th anniversary. It's a wonderful thing. Russell T Davies came back. I'm so glad. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, I was glad to see the back of him just because I wanted to see something done differently. But after I've seen this Yahoo that we had before, that's another reason this last Doctor did badly. It's not just because she's female. It's because she had a producer that was a complete jacknut. And again, one of those that thought he had to, put his political view into everything. It made it really sour. It's like I didn't come here for a lecture, you know.
Right.
So she suffered from that too. Well, he's gone. Russell T Davies is back to produce for the 60th anniversary. They're staying on, and they've got a new doctor. Well, that we already know who's Tennant's going to regenerate into, and that's in Cuddy. I forget his last name, and Wally or something like that. He's black. He may or may not be a gay man. I don't know. I haven't even looked, and not that it matters. I'm just.
That's what I don't get. Is
I guess it would matter because that would make him the first gay doctor. So I mean, that's significant anyway. So I'm not sure if he is or not, though.
Well, my question is, how did we end up with a female doctor before we came across a person of color doctor? Right?
Oh, are you kidding me, dude? Look, I mean, just think about it. You're answering your own question right there.
Well, no, it's just like it would make a lot more sense for him to regenerate into
another man
with a different skin
black
tone.
Yeah, I agree that he could have easily been a different skin tone.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been Scottish already three times.
Yeah,
you know.
I will say there was
Tennant
nothing
didn't
wrong
get to use
with
his accent except that one episode.
Right. There was nothing wrong with Eccleston. I think Eccleston did fine.
He did great.
But Tennant and Capaldi. Tennant and Capaldi were my two favorites.
So you like
Matt
Capaldi?
Smith was great as well.
I think I could take Matt. I don't know, man. Matt Smith was too close to Tennant as far as when you first saw him. You're like, oh, he's young. He kind of has the same mannerisms in a way. Of course, everybody kept the girl doctor. She did exactly. She pretty much was Tennant in a female body. She was exactly copying everything he did.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of that because as far as people are concerned, David Tennant is the new doctor. Like when people talk about classic Doctor, everybody thinks Tom Baker is like the only for years up until like the last 20 years. Nobody knew if they said, "Oh, that's the guy with the big scarf," right? So that's what everybody thought Doctor Who was, right. Tom Baker. I mean, nowadays they're a little better educated just because it's everywhere. I never thought that day would come, bro. You know how long I've been watching Doctor Who since. Before you even knew me, I've been watching it. And
well, that's what I was going to say. Like most people our age, if they had access to Doctor Who when they were younger, that's who they saw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was the package that most of the public television channels wanted, mainly because it was in color, and he had a lot of them. He had 7 seasons worth of stories, so that was a nice big run. So yeah, you could just show that. And that would run for a few months, just Tom Baker stories.
Right.
Especially if you showed them the way the BBC did, an episode per episode. But all our local television, our public television here, showed them in movie length. They edit them all together into one whole story. So I didn't even know for a long time that Doctor Who was even chopped up like that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So
it wasn't until wow. I mean, I had already been watching it. I guess it was sometime during Tennant's.
Well, I was like, so I started watching at 85. I found out when I bought the program guide, and it said these stories and how many episodes there were. I'm like, episodes? What the fuck are you talking about? One episode of story. It's
right.
One episode. And I realized no, it was, cut up, and these people watch 30-minute episodes or 22-minute episodes every week.
Yeah.
Kind of wild, man, the way they were churning them out, too, back in the black and white days, man. Like, they were working year-round. And they were, recording them like they were plays, like Dark Shadows has done and stuff. Like, it's almost like one-take stuff.
Right.
So.
There was one thing that I wanted to mention. You talked about Tennant being everybody's doctor. Another reason for that is after his reign on BBC ended, he did a lot of animation work.
Yeah.
There was a whole series with him in it.
Yeah, and then he was one of the voices in the Dragon show. The movie, anyway. I don't know if he did any more voices in the show. Probably doubtful. But
Doubt it, yeah.
Yeah, he was in that How to Train Your Dragon movie. 1 or 2 of them. And
I don't remember. I just remember seeing his name attached to one of them.
Yeah. I forget the name of the dragon, too. They were supposedly doing. And then he's seen him in a couple movies, too. I mean, he got quite a following for, and it's funny to hear that Doctor Who made somebody famous. But when when they saw him in the States, they're like, oh, we know who the hell he is. He's one of the few people to make that crossover. Because a lot of guys, you see them in a show nowadays, you don't find out they're British because they're all doing English accents very well nowadays because they had such great access to it. You don't know they're fucking British until you see them on some interview show and they're fucking using their regular accent. I'm like, holy shit! So now people are famous before you even know, instead of coming like he did, over here to make a name for himself.
Yeah, that was one thing. The guy that played Watson in the newer Sherlock Holmes that had Cumberbatch in it.
Oh yeah, Marty Freeman.
Yes. I suffered through Wakanda Forever recently, but it was worth it for me because I got to see him. I always complained about his English accent in the last one where they got the Baron. Was that Winter Soldier and Falcon?
See, now's a good time for me to make my disclaimer about superhero movies and TV shows. No more. Stop. Quit.
Well,
I'll let you finish your point, and then I'll say what I want to say about that.
Yeah. When I first saw him doing that, his American accent was too bland, right? Yeah. It had no focus of geography. It was just like somebody's take on what it's like. People trying to do a fake British accent or something. Yeah.
He was trying way too hard.
In Wakanda Forever, it is improved. So he has gotten better about that. So if you see that character again, expect him to be a little better.
Yeah, I guess he's suffering from the fact that everybody knows his British accent.
Right.
Whereas, like these guys I'm talking about, like Battlestar Galactica was a good example. I had a bunch of guys with British accents that were doing American. You didn't know they were until you go and see them later on. But you didn't know their voice, so it didn't matter. But with him, everybody knew him from the British Office way beforehand. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, he was known.
Well, I think a lot of British actors do really good American accents.
Sure.
It's just...
It's easier on them now, but what they used to do is they used to do a lot of Southern accents because this is an ADHD thing I figured out. I'm very good with accents and hearing the differences, but mainly just with British stuff, but some other accents too. And they just seems like their accents kind of fall in more with the Southern style, the way we talk Southern wise. So it was easier for them to do that. Plus, they watched a shit ton of Dukes of Hazzard. It was all about the TV and stuff that they got access to back in the day. And now they have everything. They don't have to just get stuck with what we sell them overseas. They can see everything. So I think that's changed it a lot.
Well, I also think people expect like so many English actors are like, yeah, American accent's easy, and it got that reputation. So maybe people aren't getting the resources they need to properly do an accent from, say, DC, Washington, D.C. or something like that. Yeah.
It could be that Marty got him a good voice coach, too, for that second time.
I think that's what happened. I think he did. I think whoever was running the show previously did not pony up what he needed for his research and development of the part.
Yeah.
And he's gotten that since then.
That reminds me of a funny story that Peter Jackson told on one of the Lord of the Rings things about Brad Dourif. Because he's doing the fake British accent, and he's as American as apple pie. Well, and he kept that British accent. He's a method actor, so he's keeping that accent the whole time, whether they're shooting or not. But when they wrapped, at the very end, he dropped his accent, and he's talking to Peter at the thing, and he says, "Man," Peter said, "I can't believe he did the worst American accent I've ever heard."
All right.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But I don't even know how the hell we got. What were we talking about to even get on that? Picard, I think. And then we got off on episode lengths and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you: have you seen For the Empire? The YouTube
I have.
thing?
You told me about it before.
I thought I did. I was trying to remember.
It's not for everybody, but there is a place for it in the Star Wars universe, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just funny just to lighten up and see. Imagine what a stormtrooper with like a modern guy, like take a modern guy out of the day that's kind of goofy or whatever, and put him in the role of a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Is the way best to describe it. And they give him somebody that
to banter with.
Yeah, but he's just kind of like an old gruff soldier or something like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, you brought that up for a reason, right?
Well, they had season 2 come out. I didn't even know. It was like about 2 weeks ago, actually, from what I can tell on YouTube, and I didn't even know about it. And I was like, subscribe. Shame on you, YouTube. This has happened. I actually had another creator say something about, or I had to say something to him. One of my guys, channels I subscribe to. I was like, bro, I had to go look for your content the other day because he puts out quite a bit. You know, there's something coming out at least twice a week, maybe even every day almost, depending.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, okay, come to think of it, I hadn't seen this guy in a while. And I went and looked, and he had 2 or 3 videos out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I told him, and he said, yeah, I guess I'm in trust. You're not the first person to tell me that. That's like, that's messed up. And this is a guy who was getting, you know, a pretty good amount of hits off the algorithm. That just makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe the new lead at YouTube will take care of that, right?
That's what we're all hoping, isn't it? That's what we're all hoping. Boy, a lot of people happy to see the back of her. I was surprised at that. I didn't realize that it was that way. I mean, I'm new to this world of YouTube as far as being a creator. You've been doing it for a little bit.
Well, I dipped my toe in, but I never really got it to where I felt like I was serious enough to be doing what I wanted. So.
Yeah. Well, and like we haven't, this will be our 4th episode, and we haven't had to deal with any of the bullshit yet, like some kind of copyright infringement or anything like that. So that's been nice. I try and keep this as simple as I can keep it without stepping on toes, but also make it entertaining.
Right.
The idea of this podcast is actually to be an audio podcast, but YouTube is a visual medium. So rather than just throw a frickin' graphic up there for y'all to stare at while you play your game or whatever, you can turn around and look at us. Eventually I might get in there and throw some actual videos of what we're talking about in too, but baby steps, because, man, I'm still trying to get this done. We record on a Saturday, and I've got so much to do. Like, to get it out on Monday, I have all day Sunday to do what I need to do. And until I have a system worked out, I just don't think that's feasible.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll get that kind of stuff added. But I was just
definitely shouldn't be a problem to, you know, get the process down and have it where it's just like, we're done, we wrap next day or the day after.
Yeah. Oh, every week, dude, I'm getting better. You should see me now. I mean, like I do stuff that was, you know, taking me forever before. Plus, there's been a lot of trial and error. I think I can finally spit out a video render now. I spit one 40 megabyte file out the other day, but it's what I fucking wanted. It had the resolution I wanted, and YouTube didn't step all over it too hard. It was nice, but yeah, it's what I thought it was. And I went and checked the video out, and it confirmed what I thought, and boom. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, because I was going to mention about superheroes, TV shows, and movies. This will be my last.
Go on, time for your rant.
My last rant before we go. Enough already. Kevin Feige is right. Jesus Christ, there's too much of this stuff, man. For one, you get so much of it that it just gets where it's just bad stories coming out, and then you guys are just you're losing. You're losing out because you're getting just crap for the sake of having superhero stuff out there. I'm just sick of it because I just can't watch it anymore. There's just so much going on, and now they want to integrate the TV into the movies, and I know, God love you guys that are out there that love that, and have at it. It's more than fine for you to have at it, but I didn't want no part of it. I really, not right now. I did. I used to love it, especially back in the day when all we had was X-Men. It was great. Now it's just totally different, man. They set the standard, set the stage for successful superhero movies, and Spider-Man took it a step further. And
I think that's kind of one of the things is like it's trying to find this balance of available but not too expensive properties and recognizability, right?
Yeah,
recognizable characters.
It's like we don't need Jonah Hex,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, I agree, and I don't know. Maybe it is too saturated, but at the same time, I think that a lot of balls were fumbled.
No doubt.
And we could have had a lot more. Like I don't know.
You need a bloody roadmap, though, man.
Right? Yeah.
You got to go consult the internet and find out how you're supposed to watch this shit. Because I used to know. I forgot. It got to a point, like so many movies in, that I forgot how to tell you which ones to watch in what order. And I used to could.
Yeah, no. I agree. Yeah, it's. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, guys.
Way.
I love comics. I grew up with all that stuff. I loved it, but it is just so. I don't know. I don't want to say Scorsese was right, but I don't necessarily think he was wrong either.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. I guess there's enough to say about it. And enjoy it. If they're writing good stuff for you and you like it, I think that Fish Called Wanda or whatever was great. What was it called? WandaVision?
WandaVision.
Yeah, I think that went over pretty good. Some people like She-Hulk, some people didn't, from what I heard.
I have mixed feelings about it. There were people who were vocal online saying, like, it's not like the comics, and then, they were like, this is literally in the comics.
I mean, it's...
I kind of felt like the comics felt a lot different than the movie did.
What does it mean to be in the comics anyway? Because my comics stories that I know have all been stepped all over now by the new stuff. So whose world are we talking about anyway? That argument is a rough one to bring out on somebody, man. I can believe somebody would bring it out, but that's a pretty rough thing to say. It's not like the comic. Well, yeah. Half the shit I watch in like my comics growing up, I see the same kind of. I see a seed of what I remember in there, But now I'm finding out that it's
like that. Right?
Yeah, well, I'll bitch about it, and somebody go, "No, you're wrong because they in this Volume 2 version of Spider-Man, it's this way." I'm like, oh well,
right.
I don't do Volume 2 or whatever. Past my expiration date on that.
I hate that Logan was the closest thing we got to the X-Men that I really.
Yeah.
Not that Logan was bad by any means. I thought it was a great movie. So much to love about it. But yeah, like the stuff I remember kind of didn't get delivered on, but it was made up by other stuff.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen Logan. For me, the piece de resistance was Deadpool 2. I mean, that was
you got to watch.
That's Logan, what I went out on, and I have seen. I do want to see it. I realize, or have I seen it, or am I thinking of the cartoon? I think I saw a cartoon, Logan.
Well, Logan is the old man story of the X-Men.
The anime Logan story I'm talking about.
Not offhand.
I'm not sure I know what I'm talking about. Well, I guess that's it. Rant over. Yeah. I don't have nothing else, man. You got anything you want to talk about?
Wow. Not off the top of my head, man.
All right.
We can always open it up to 80 stuff and ADHD because we are masters of those domains.
Man, you know what?
You
bring up ADHD, and I'll say this. I've run across a couple of videos on, like, last one today was on Instagram, and I wish that my phone is my camera right now, so I can't even, like, just tell you. This girl was sitting in the bed with her man, and he's got, like, a notebook, and I guess she's been writing in it, and she's explaining to him, like, the superpowers of ADHD, okay? Instead of just what we talk about and tell you, like, what sucks about it, well, she's trying to tell you there's kind of some superpowers with it, too. And he's reading off, like, empathy when walking into a room. And she's like, yeah, you can go into a room and, like, you can tell, like, what everybody in the room is feeling and stuff like that. And that one, see, now that one would, and I do have that in a way, but not so much the empathy, because I'm a narcissist, so I have zero empathy almost for most things.
Analytical.
Yeah, it's I can almost recognize that I might need empathy, but I won't use it. So, so that one didn't really hit home with me, but the next few did, and I wish I could remember. Like one was, pattern recognition. Certainly, I can spot patterns very easily in things, and I forget in the text. I wish I could just tell you verbatim what it said, but there were like 4 of them. But I've been coming across these, and they're really cool. I've been meaning to just jot down like some of the stuff so we could talk about them on here, because
well, throw me a link after the show.
It's interesting because I use these as tools to like communicate to other people. Like my wife, for example, when I try to tell her, explain something to her, sometimes I just don't know how, and I'm just like, here, watch this video real quick. Right. This will be like this is like a key. And that's one thing I found out I've been trying to do with people is like now that I've been I've diagnosed with ADHD for a while, but the narcissist thing's newish, and I feel like those are keys that I can give to people to understand me better. That like, okay, so if you know that I am that this is going to happen because I've told you that this is going to happen, maybe I can help you avoid that happening, and me too, because you don't want the result of it,
Right.
So I guess it's getting older. I'm just trying to help people understand me better.
No, I totally get that, and that's what I was saying about throw me the link, as like that's all I get is the negative of being ADHD.
Yeah, it makes you realize that hey, there are some good parts, and it's funny because I've known some of that stuff she said, but I've just never told anybody, hey, these are superpowers, kind of in a way.
Right.
I wish I could think of some of the other ones, but yeah, I'll do that. But anyway, that's obviously a common theme we always have here on the show is the ADHD. That's what rules my world, rules Brian B's world. So
we like to talk about it, but we don't necessarily have to. People can just watch the beginning of this episode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anytime, any video, you'll see it in its manifested form for sure.
Right.
But anyway, so I guess we'll call it a night. We won't make this a long video, man. We're not trying to keep you all night long. So hopefully this will be out on Monday as usual. And as always, from Brian to me, from me, we'll see you on the flip side. Y'all take care now. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.